Well, joining me is American commentator Charlie Wolf and Owen Jones, a columnist at The Independent. Good evening to you both. Charlie, where is he tonight?
We don't seem to know, but I definitely don't think this is a whistleblower from what I've seen. You know, whistleblowers don't go off to, what did Senator Lindsey Graham say? You know, the Freedom Trail doesn't include China, Russia, Cuba, Ecuador. You know, they're not really high on press freedom and human rights. But, you know, this is a man who doesn't appear to be helping his country in any way. He hasn't given any sort of concrete evidence of any sort of abuse or malfeasance that I know of. He's mentioned programs, some of which were already known to some extent. But, you know, this is not the actions of a whistleblower. So it'll be interesting to see exactly where he is. And more importantly, what's the price being paid for this little free ride to Russia, to Moscow? They don't.
But was he ever in Russia? We don't know that for sure, do we? There was a flight booked, of course, and obviously we've heard from WikiLeaks, from a statement there, that he was in Russia, but we don't know for sure.
No, I mean, that was never confirmed. And I have to say, this idea of criticising his choice of destination as though he has much of a choice of destination, we've got to be clear about this. The number of countries where there isn't an extradition treaty in force with the United States is very limited indeed. And when we talk about courage and bravery, if you like, both Charlie and I have, I think it's fair to say, very strong beliefs and convictions. The most I will ever face is a few people ranting at me in the Telegraph or on Twitter. What he has done, because of his convictions about openness and transparency, is he has abandoned a very well-paid job, his girlfriend, who he obviously loved very much, his freedom to live where he wants. He will now spend the rest of his life on the run. And the point is this: he hasn't revealed anything which the Chinese government or Al-Qaeda didn't know. They already were aware that they were being spied on. What he's done is have the courtesy, let me just finish, Charlie, the courtesy to let the American people know the extent of that surveillance. Now, Charlie and I might disagree. I don't think that surveillance should be on that level, but it's up in a democracy, it's up to the US people to decide whether or not they think that level of surveillance is appropriate or not,
Charlie,
and that's what he's doing.
I mean, you have to. Well, first off, small point. It's not a democracy; it's a republic. There's a slight difference. I mean, it's a technicality, but
so you
it's
don't think
important.
the United States is a democracy?
No, it's officially it's a republic, and this is something that has. It's been covered by the three branches of government. That's our protection as the Constitution. It was started under the Bush administration, Republican administration. It's been continued under Democratic administration. It's had full oversight from the Congress. It's had full oversight and approval from the judiciary. So, again, we can agree to disagree on to what extent it goes, but you can't say there's been an abuse of power or any malfeasance. And again, if he was a true whistleblower, he could have easily gone to the press in the United States. He could have gone to the Inspector General. He could have gone to the Senate Oversight Committee. He didn't do that. He didn't even go to. I mean, I was watching an interview just very quickly with Bob Woodward over the weekend. Now, there's a guy that knows about abuse of power and whistleblowing, and he didn't seem too impressed with what Snowden's had to sell.
I find it odd. Of course, he's a whistleblower. Whether you agree with him or not, he is obviously a whistleblower. And the point is, actually, we've got to give him full credit. He didn't just indiscriminately release a load of documents that could have in any way imperiled national security.
He could have made a lot of money out of it.
We don't know that.
But what he did is he carefully selected the documents to be released. That was then negotiated with the Guardian journalist to make sure that no people were imperiled by the release. All he's done is let the American people know the extent of that surveillance program. And Charlie, I have to say, it's funny because you're a conservative. You criticise people like me for being statists and big government socialists. The point is, this is about the state's infringement of individual rights, and if you support that, that is up to you. But the American people should have the right to know the full extent of that surveillance.
Where there's a confusion with Owen and many others, and people on the right. You're in league with Glenn Beck and Sarah Palin, by the way.
Anyone who supports freedom,
which is fine.
I will back them on this issue.
Yeah, but again, we're looking at public information versus protected information. Okay. Names and addresses of numbers of people you have called is not the same as listening to
Charlie Wolf and Owen Jones, I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there. Many thanks for your comments this evening.